Hello students, yesterday we saw the types of the superconductors in which I told you about the first type of the semiconductor. Today we will take the second type of the superconductors. In this type of the superconductor, the change from diamagnetic state to non-magnetic is not sharp or abrupt as it was shown in the first type of the superconductor. If you remember that in first type of the superconductor, there was a abrupt change in the magnetic property of the superconductor. But in the case of the second type of the superconductor, it occurs gradually as BA, that is the magnetic field, applied magnetic field, passes across HC. HC means critical magnetic field as shown in the figure. Here we see that magnetic flux starts penetrating the material at the value of BA, which is equal to HC1. And here HC1 is less than HC, that is the critical magnetic field. And finally, Meissner effect vanishes when BA becomes equal to HC. That is when applied magnetic field becomes equal to the critical magnetic field, that is HC2. That is, thereafter the material becomes normal conductor. So what we have seen here, that at HC1 the material was superconductor, and whereas at HC2 the material is a normal conductor. The HC1 is less than HC and HC2 is higher than HC2. So we can say that critical magnetic field lies in between HC1 and HC2. This may be noted from the figure that the loss of area by the curve between HC1 and HC gets restored between HC and HC2. Another point of attraction is in the range HC1 HC2 range, that is range from HC1 to HC2. The state of superconductor is called vortex state. So what is the vortex state? It is the state in between the HC1 and HC2. Now look at the graph. The graph is between the BA taken on the x-axis and 4 pi m taken on the y-axis. Starting as the BA increases, superconducting state increases and HC1 lies in this range. When BA is further increased, we reached at the point of HC, which is actually the vortex state, and above HC or higher than HC, a state HC2 occurs where the superconductor nature or superconducting nature of the superconductor vanishes. Means now superconductor acts just like a metal or just like a conductor. Now we take some more aspect of the superconductivity. As we know, the superconductors have two unique properties. First, they have zero electrical resistance and so carry current with no energy loss. Since the resistance is almost zero, so loss in energy is almost zero. They expel all magnetic flux from their interior and so are forced out of a magnetic field. The superconductors can float above a magnetic field due to the repulsion. Now, magnetic properties of superconductors, as we have seen earlier, when a superconductor is cooled below its critical temperature Tc, it expels all magnetic flux from within its interior. The magnetic flux B, it thus becomes zero. Now look at the graph. When we look graph on the left hand side, which shows the variation of the resistivity rho versus temperature, showing the drop to zero at critical temperature Tc, for a superconductor and the finite value of sigma for a normal metal silver at 0 Kelvin. From the graph it is clear that for tin, when the temperature is decreasing, the resistivity also decreasing. At a critical temperature shown by Tc, the resistivity of tin becomes 0 and now tin acts as the superconductor. Whereas second graph is for a normal metal, normal conductor, that is the silver. Now, look at the graphs or figures on the right hand side. First figure shows a normal material when there is no magnetic field. Now, second figure shows the diamagnetic behavior of the material in which the magnetic flux is outside of the material. Third figure shows the metal or a conductor above critical temperature. And above this critical temperature, we see that the magnetic flux is passing through the material. Whereas figure 4 shows the same material but below at critical temperature. Below critical temperature, we see that almost, or you can say completely, magnetic flux is out of the material. Means there is a great repulsion of magnetic field. Now, we know that B is equal to mu naught H 1 plus chi. When B becomes 0, chi becomes negative or less than 0. It means superconductors are perfect diamagnets. If a magnetic field is applied to a superconductor, the magnetic field is excluded and superconductivity repel magnet or superconductors repel magnet. It is also found that Tc changes in the presence of a magnetic field. A plot of Tc against increasing magnetic field is shown in figure B. From the figure, it is clear that on increasing the temperature, the Hc decreases and superconductivity also decreases. This superconducting material can be made non-superconducting by the application of a large N of magnetic field. The minimum value of the field strength required to bring about this change is called the critical field strength, that is shown by Hc. Value of Hc depends upon the nature of material and temperature. Similarly, if the current in the superconductor exceeds a critical current, the superconductivity again destroys, and this phenomena is called the Silsby effect. This is the Silsby effect, Silsbee. So what is the Silsby effect? Silsby effect is the effect of current on the superconductor, and Meissner effect was the effect of magnetic field. So remember, the superconductivity can be destroyed either by applying the high value of the magnetic field or by applying the high value of current, that is the critical current. So above critical current, a superconductor becomes conductor, and also above a magnetic field, a superconductor becomes conductor. So this is all about the effect of magnetic field and electric current on the superconducting. On next turn, we will see the theory of the superconductivity. Thank you.